Hey guitar players, Korey Hicks here, and welcome back to the Guitar in a Year Beginner to Intermediate. We are on week number 3. Last week we talked about the chromatic scale, we learned a new picking exercise, we added the first 2 chords to our repertoire, and this week we're going to expand on all of that, and in fact we're going to be learning our first major scale this week, and we're going to use that to start playing melodies on the guitar. So let's start off with the picking exercise that we did last week. We had moved our 1, 2, 3, 4 to be 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, the goal that I've set for you guys is 70 beats per minute. So if you're not able to get to 70 yet, don't worry about it. You can start at 50 or maybe 60 and work your way up. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to have a brand new picking exercise. I'm going to be calling these digital exercises, meaning digits. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, then we did 4, 3, 2, 1. Today, we're going to add in 1, 3, 2, 4. Okay, so this is going to be first finger at the first fret with a downstroke, upstroke on our ring finger at the 3rd fret, downstroke with the 2nd finger at the 2nd fret, and the 4th finger is going to get the 4th fret with an upstroke. So down, up, up. Now there's no problem with you just kind of camping out on one string for a while before moving it all the way up. Okay, so I'm going to put on our metronome here at 70 beats per minute. You're going to notice this accent. That's going to be our 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your metronome may not have an accent. That's totally fine, but I just wanted to point it out today. That's going to keep our place as we move from measure to measure, okay? Now you might find a little bit of a challenge with your fingers doing 1, 3, 2, 4, but the metronome going 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll get it, I promise, okay? 2, 3, 4. All right, so again, I want you to be doing that 25 times a day this week. If you feel like you want to go back and go over the 1, 2, 3, 4 or the 4, 3, 2, 1, feel free to do that as well. I just want to make you aware that at this point in your development, 25 times a day is going to be just fine. It's going to be plenty. We don't want to give anyone an RSI or repetitive stress injury on their hand, so don't overdo it. Okay? The last thing that I want to mention about picking is just please watch your hand. A lot of students around this time start altering their picking technique and they stop thinking about it, all right? So just as a reminder, it's like shaking my hand, then you're going to put the first finger out, the pick goes on that, the thumb goes down to hold the pick, okay? I see a lot of students start to use other fingers around this time, or maybe they start holding it like they would hold a pencil or something like that. We have to make sure that we're keeping an eye on our picking, okay? This is what a mirror is really good for. I like to have a couple of different mirrors that I use. So I have a big one right here, full-length body mirror, that type of thing, so I can watch and monitor my technique. You can get these mirrors for like $7 to $10 at Walmart, so it's a worthwhile thing to add to your practice room. So let's talk about those chords that we learned last time. We had learned G, and we had learned C add 9. And remember that C add 9, it's because it's the 9th tone of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't really need to know the theory behind that, but that's what that's for those of you who are just popping in. And I had given you a challenge to play for 3 minutes with doing 1 strum per beat. Let's do that together right now just to get a feel for it. 2, 3, 4. right, so a lot of students will tell me after they do this exercise where they, video themselves for 3 minutes, it takes a lot of stamina. You might have your hand cramping up, or you might drop the pick. So this is what it takes to play a song. And what I was mentioning last week about this being the simplest song that you could possibly play, let's get to a point where it's not a challenge anymore, so that it's super easy and comfortable for us to do it. For other people, you might want a little bit of a tip on getting to this point. So if you find that you cannot strum 4 times, and there's always this gap getting to the C, what I'm going to suggest you do is strum on the first click, get off of your chord on the second click, or start the motion to move to the C, and then get there by the first click of the next measure. So as a rhythm guitar player, your main goal is to get the right chord at the right time. So if you have to kind of get out of the music for a split second so that you can kind of recenter yourself, then that is okay. So let me show you what that's going to sound like. So I'm going to strum on 1, and I'm going to go off on 2 to see if I can get to the next chord. So 1, off, 3, 4, 1, off, 3, 4. Strum, off, I'm moving, strum, off, I'm moving, right? And it's not too bad with these 2 chords because our pinky and our ring finger are going to be at the same place throughout the song, okay? I do want to mention something else with muting because I got a question about this. It is perfectly fine to use your right hand for muting purposes. In fact, it is one of the most common methods of muting that we have. You'll notice 2, it's like you're karate chopping the strings down here, okay? 1, 2, I'm off. 4, 1, 2, I'm off, 4. That can help you kind of cut the sound so you don't have any extraneous noises coming out of your hands or the guitar when you are playing, okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our 3rd chord to the mix. We are still going to keep our pinky and ring finger right where they're at. That's one of the beauties of this set of chords. We're going to be going to a D sus. The sus stands for suspended 4th. Again, another one of those theory things you don't need to worry about right now. If you are interested in beginner level music theory, I'm offering some courses over on Patreon starting this week. So that's going to be music theory for beginners. The first course is going to be as if you have no idea about music theory, you've never heard of it before. I'm going to get you started on the right track so that you can add that to your practicing. So go over there, you can get some information about that. So, but how do we get to this D sus? And it's okay to just call it D for right now. So I'm at that C add 9. To get to D sus, very simple. I'm going to remove my middle finger, and then I'm going to take my pointer finger and move it to the 3rd string. So I'm going to call that going up a string set, because remember, this is going up the scale. Okay, so I'm on C add 9. I drop the middle finger, and I put my first finger on the G string. D is the root of this chord, so I'm going to want that in the bass. So I'm going to go from the 4th string, which is the D string, and strum towards the floor. And you notice this has a cool little suspendy type of sound, okay? So I have G, I have C add 9, and D sus, okay? And so it's now that you start hearing some of these common chord progressions that you've heard for so many years. And we will be talking about strumming patterns and all that coming up in the next couple of weeks. You don't have to worry about that right now. We're still going to be going with those down strums, okay? And so for this week, still the same type of exercise, 3 minutes, but I want you to go in this chord progression. 4 strums of G, 4 strums of C, 4 strums of the D, and 4 strums of the G. Start over. Okay, so the thing about this chord progression that's a little challenging is that it is bookended by G's, meaning it's G, then I play a C, then I play a D, and then I play a G again. So when I go back to the beginning, it's a G again. So it feels like doing G twice. So don't cut off those 4 beats. Some people will come back and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they feel like they restarted, so then they go to C next, okay? So just remember, 4 strums a G, 4 strums a C, 4 strums a D, 4 strums a G, 4 strums a G, 4 strums a C, so on and so forth, okay? And so there is a song that uses this chord progression that I'm going to suggest that you guys start to take a listen to, and this is The Cowboy Rides Away by George Strait. It is these chords in this order for 3.5 minutes. It was, I believe, his first #1 hit single, and at this point, it doesn't matter if you are a country fan or not. Our goal is just to learn how to play the guitar. We can't put the order of the songs that we learn in the order we like them. Like, I'm gonna learn my favorite song, then my next favorite song. I know that sounds fun and like it'll keep us interested, but usually what happens is we just get frustrated and we end up quitting. And so there is kind of a hierarchy to the difficulty of songs. And this song I've been teaching for over 20 years, and a lot of people get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And also, the fact that you can play a whole song perfectly is really important. We're not going to go over the song today, but I just want you to take a listen to it and see if you can't hear that chord progression. We'll want probably another week of familiarity with these chords before we start applying them to an actual song. So next, after we have those chords down, you can take some time to kind of play through each one, maybe 25 times, right? At this point, it should be a little bit faster than it used to be. Start writing down how many times you are doing those repetitions per day. So at this point, we would be at 75 per day, right? That may feel like a lot, but it only takes about 10 to 20 minutes. So G, do 25 of those, move to the C, that type of thing, then go to the D. We want to be able to find these chords by themselves. One question I got from a student was, should all of my fingers come down at the same time? Yes, eventually, but it will take you a while to get there. It certainly took me a while to get there. So don't worry if it doesn't happen in the first couple weeks. I wouldn't even be worried if it doesn't happen in the first couple of months. It doesn't mean that you're not getting better. I had a teacher at music school talk about physiology of the guitar, and they said it usually takes about 9 months for a brand new technique to become second nature on the instrument. So maybe that will help you to manage expectations when you are working through some of these things, okay? So today, we are going to start talking about our very first scale. So last week, we introduced the concept of the chromatic scale. I call this the musical alphabet. This is every note in Western music. Every note that's on a piano, every note that's on a guitar, every note that's on an oboe or a trumpet, these 12 pitches. So I'd asked you to be able to say or write this in less than 20 seconds. So we have C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B. So let's all try this together. Let's do it 3 times. C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, back to C. C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, back to C. One more time. C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, back to C. Good. You will notice that there are 7 of those pitches that don't have sharps or flats. Now, this is going to be our C major scale. Again, there's a little bit of theory in here that I don't want to bother you with right now, but we are going to cover it. Today, we're just going to get the fingering down. Remember, everything that we learn has to be learned by the mind, the ear, and the hand. And a lot of times for beginners, we can overcomplicate something by talking too much about the theory. So today, we're just going to get the mechanics of playing the scale down. So what I want you to do is you're going to start off with your ring finger on the 5th string. That's our A string on the 3rd fret. Now you'll notice this is already comfortable because that's where we play our third finger where we do our 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise, okay? All right, so that's our C note. We're gonna play the open D string. Then our middle finger on the D string is gonna play our E, okay? So C, D, E. Our ring finger on the D string is gonna play the note F. Notice that every finger that I'm using is in the exact same place it was with the 1, 2, 3, 4. C, D, E, F. Now we're gonna add the open G string, but we don't just keep going. We're gonna go back to C to make sure that we can get through them all. C, D, E, F, G. C, D, E, F, G. Now I'm going to add the A note with my middle finger on the G string. C, D, E, F, G, A. Again, C, D, E, F, G, A. Next, we're going to learn the open B string. So we start at the bottom again with C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. One more time. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then last, we're going to learn the C note, which is the B string on the first fret. So now we have a 1 octave C major scale. An octave just means it's doubling of the vibration frequency. This C, the next occurrence of that C is an octave, okay? So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Let's try it again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And we are going to start playing some melodies with this scale. But what I would like you guys to be able to do this week is go up and down the scale. Okay, so let's see how that would sound with our metronome at the usual 70 beats per minute. And so the challenge I'm going to give you for this scale this week is to be able to play it up and down at 70 beats per minute. Now you can work your way up, right? Start at 50 if you have to, or at 60. Can you do that for a minute straight, okay? And that is going to be a significant challenge for a lot of you starting off with. But what I want you to do is just kind of spend some time with the scale, spend some time with the sounds of the scale. You can play the scale in a lot of different ways. And we are going to learn to improvise with it as well. Maybe some of you want to start picking out some melodies. So I'm going to challenge you to kind of figure out that. We just had the holiday season, so Jingle Bells starts on E. Okay, there's a lot of famous melodies that we can learn simply by using this scale. And after we get comfortable with the scale, I'm actually going to teach you a bunch of famous melodies just using that scale, okay? Let's kind of go over what we did today. So we added in a new exercise with the picking our 1, 3, 2, 4. we added in a new chord with our G, C add 9, and then the D sus. We're kind of adjusting our song to be G, C, D, G. We're working on doing that for 3 minutes at 70 beats per minute. And then we took a look at our chromatic scale. We want to keep practicing that this week. Just keep saying it over and over again whenever you do think of it. And then we added in our C major scale. I just want to throw a little bit of wisdom out there at you. When I first started learning the guitar, I was not particularly interested in learning the major scale because I thought I wanted to play rock guitar, and so, it just occurred to me that maybe rock guitar didn't use major scales or something. Anyway, so I didn't spend as much time on the major scale in my first year, and then I started realizing that all of my minor scales were derived from the major scale itself. So without going into too much theory, just understand that to be true. The major scale and a lot of minor scales are inside of the major scale. It is a wonderful thing once it becomes, under your fingers and you can use it and you can speak with it on the instrument. So even though it kind of sounds like a nursery rhyme right now, just understand that we're going to apply this to a lot of different things, and you're going to start seeing some of your most favorite songs and melodies that you've heard for your entire life are going to be coming straight from this major scale. And all of your minor scales are actually inside of here, and we're actually going to be using that major scale to play throughout the neck. Okay? Now, another thing I do want to state about the scales is that because we have the same things in the same octave, this is where confusion kind of comes in with melodies. So if I play that C major scale again, I can play it here, and it sounds exactly the same. Notice the different fingering. And then here, and here, and here, and here. So you might hear somebody play a melody, and then somebody else is like, no, they play it here. And then someone else is like, no, they play it here. Well, who's right? They all are, okay? So it's just one of those things where we have to kind of get used to the way the guitar works. It is possible to play a melody in a lot of different spots. This is why there's so much discrepancy on the internet with melodies. You learn the tab to a song and it was here, but then you see the actual band play it live and they play it there. But then the guitar teacher tells you to play it here. Who's right? Well, they all are, okay? And so that's one of the things that we're going to start navigating so that you don't have any questions about that. And you're going to be self-sustaining. You're going to be able to use what you know about the guitar to be able to make these choices for yourself later on, and all the confusion will be washed away. Head over to the Patreon for all of the stuff that's going to be added to the PDF from this lesson. And if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments section below. You can also go over to my Patreon. You can reach out to me over there. And I am looking forward to seeing you again next week for week 4. Take care. Peace.